There are moments in life when you close your eyes, raise your hands, and whisper a prayer that comes straight from the heart. You might be sitting alone in your room, maybe under the night sky, or in the silence of sujud, when you feel closest to Allah. You ask, you plead, you cry. You tell Him about the things you cannot tell anyone else. And then, nothing seems to happen. Days pass, weeks go by, and your situation doesn't change. You start wondering, maybe my dua isn't being accepted. Maybe Allah doesn't listen to me anymore. But what if I told you that silence isn't rejection, it's preparation? What if the delay you're feeling right now is the beginning of something greater than what you asked for? Let's pause for a second. Think about the times you prayed with tears in your eyes. Remember that one dua that meant everything to you. Maybe it was for someone you loved. Maybe it was for a job, for healing, for forgiveness, or for peace. You wanted it so badly that you thought you couldn't live without it. And when it didn't happen, you thought Allah had turned away. But here's the truth. Allah never turns away from a heart that calls upon Him sincerely. He says in the Quran, "Call upon me, I will respond to you." He didn't say I might respond, or I'll see if you're worthy. He said, I will respond. That's a promise from your Creator. The only question is, are you patient enough to wait for the answer in His time, not yours? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Every one of you has his prayer answered, as long as he is not impatient and says, 'I prayed, but it was not answered.'" Reflect on that. How many times have we lost blessings simply because we gave up too early? Because we decided that silence meant rejection? But Allah's silence is not neglect. It's wisdom. Sometimes He delays your dua to protect you. Sometimes He delays it to strengthen your faith. And sometimes, He delays it to replace what you asked for with something far better than you imagined. Think of a child who cries for a knife because he thinks it's shiny and beautiful. The parent refuses, not because they don't love the child, but because they know it would hurt him. The child might cry, might even think the parent is being unfair, but only the parent knows why they said no. That's how Allah works. You ask for something, and sometimes the answer is not yes or no, but wait. Because He knows what you don't. He sees what's hidden behind what you're asking for. Maybe that person you wanted wasn't good for your heart. Maybe that job you dreamed of would have destroyed your peace. Maybe that delay is actually a wall of mercy saving you from harm. Let me ask you something. How many times have you looked back at your life and realized that what you once cried for would have ruined you if you got it? Think about it. There must have been moments when you said, "I'm so glad that didn't happen." That's Allah's plan revealing itself over time. When you prayed, He heard you. When you cried, He saw you. When you thought He was silent, He was working behind the scenes, aligning everything perfectly for the right moment. His delay is never His denial. But I want to challenge you today. The next time you make dua and it feels like nothing is happening, I want you to hold your ground. Don't walk away disappointed. Don't let impatience steal your reward. Instead, tell yourself, Allah heard me. He knows. He's preparing something for me, and when the time is right, it will come to me effortlessly. I want you to type in the comments right now, "I trust Allah's timing." Let's fill this space with belief, not doubt. Let's remind each other that our duas are never wasted. Every dua is answered in one of three ways. Either Allah gives you exactly what you asked for, or He delays it because something better is coming, or He saves you from a calamity that you never even knew was heading your way. In all three cases, you win. In all three cases, your dua benefits you. Not one sincere dua ever goes unheard. Even the ones you whisper in tears at night when no one else sees, those are the ones that rise the highest. There's something powerful about the way dua connects the human heart to the divine. When you make dua, you're not just asking, you're surrendering. You're saying, "I don't have control, but you do. I can't, but you can." It's a declaration of faith. And faith is not proven when life is easy. Faith is proven in the waiting. When you don't see results, yet you keep believing. When you don't hear a reply, yet you keep calling. That's where real belief lives, in the unseen. Sometimes, Allah delays your dua because He wants you to come closer to Him. If He gave you everything instantly, would you still talk to Him the same way? Would you still raise your hands every night with that same softness in your heart? Maybe He delays to keep your heart connected to Him, to keep you praying, to keep you humble. Because when we get what we want too easily, we often forget the one who gave it. But when we wait, when we struggle, when we cry, our connection with Him deepens. And that's a gift greater than the thing we asked for. There are also moments when Allah doesn't give you what you asked for, because He's preparing you for something beyond your imagination. You might be asking for a drop, and He wants to give you an ocean. But you have to be ready for it. You have to grow into it. You have to go through the lessons, the patience, the heartbreak, the faith building that makes you capable of handling that blessing. Allah never withholds to punish. He withholds to prepare. Now think about the story of Prophet Yusuf, Joseph. He was thrown into a well by his own brothers, sold as a slave, falsely accused and imprisoned. Years of pain, betrayal, and waiting. Yet what did Allah do? He elevated him from the depth of a well to the throne of Egypt. That's what Allah can do. From the lowest point in your life to unimaginable heights if you just hold on. Do you think your dua is too hard for Allah? The same Lord who split the sea for Musa, who brought Yunus out from the belly of the whale, who gave a child to Zachariah in old age, He can solve your problem in a heartbeat. He just wants you to trust Him completely. But there's one thing that stops many of us: impatience. The moment we don't see quick results, we lose heart. We start comparing our journey to others. Why did their dua get answered and mine didn't? But remember, Allah's plan is personalized. What's written for you is not meant for anyone else. Your timeline is yours. And comparing it to others only steals your peace. When someone else receives a blessing, don't envy them. Celebrate them. Because their time came, and yours is on its way. I want you to remember this. Allah never forgets. He never ignores. He never fails to keep His promise. The only thing He asks from you is patience and faith. And patience isn't passive, it's powerful. It means you keep working, keep praying, keep trusting, even when you don't see results. It's easy to believe when life is good. But the real test is when life is silent. Can you still believe when your heart feels heavy? When the weight feels endless? That's where you prove your love for Allah. Maybe you've been making dua for years. For healing, for peace, for a loved one, for guidance. Maybe you're tired. But don't stop. Don't ever stop asking. Because dua itself is an act of worship. It's not just about getting what you want. It's about staying connected to the one who gives. Even if you never saw the result, every dua raised you higher. Every prayer written in sincerity builds your relationship with Allah. And that relationship is worth more than anything in this world. I want you to do something tonight. Find a quiet moment. Sit alone. Raise your hands and just talk to Him. Don't use fancy words. Just speak from your heart. Tell Him everything. Your fears, your dreams, your guilt, your gratitude. Cry if you need to. Because Allah loves the heart that turns to Him sincerely. And when you're done, don't rush away. Sit in that silence. Feel the peace that comes after pouring your soul out. That's Allah's way of saying, I heard you. And one day, when you least expect it, the thing you prayed for will appear. Not suddenly, but beautifully. You'll look back and say, now I understand why it took so long. Because in the waiting you became stronger. You learned patience. You learned trust. And maybe, just maybe, what changed the most wasn't your situation. It was you. So don't lose hope. Your dua is not forgotten. The clock of the divine never stops ticking. Every second is part of a story that leads you closer to the best version of your destiny. Hold on. Keep praying. Keep believing. Because when Allah delays, He never denies. And now I want to hear from you. What's that one dua you've been making for a long time? The one that means the most to you. Share it in the comments, not for others to see, but to remind yourself that you still have faith. Let's build a space filled with hope, patience, and trust, because your story isn't over yet. The best chapter is still being written.